Again, thank you so much, my friend, for trusting me to read your cards for a situation like this, right? I know I don't take it for granted for you to let me in on something this serious and personal. So I do appreciate it, friend. And I also do apologize, Austin, because I really did thought I emailed you. So it's like you probably from your head, you're like, girl, did I get scammed? But yeah, I do apologize for not emailing you and giving you the heads up that I got your order. But yeah, let's just get right into this. The cards already came out. I already had been connecting to your energy as well as your person's as well. Or not your person, but the soon to be ex, I believe he said. Because I don't know if he said if you actively were leaving, or I know you were planning on it from that abusive situation. So, all right. So let's just get right into this here. All right, we're tapping in right now to the current trajectory of things for you here in regards to this dynamic. Ten of Cups, like I do read reversals, so when you see these cards up here, these are reversed. I just don't feel the need to like have the cards upside down. So let's get right into this, Austin. Ten of Cups being in the reverse here. So for one, it's important to understand that in tarot, tens represent closures to cycles, right? And then the ten of cups is like the ending. It represents like people that you share your life with, right? It's the sense of like that's why you kind of see with the, it's like the family there with the kids and so on and so forth. And just to see this in the reverse, while it's obviously like I'm not happy that you're going through the abusive situation that you're going through, but I can be telling you that this is a really affirming card to be having for your situation because it lets you know, Austin, that you are making the right choice in this regard here. It's the sense of where there's not really anything else you can get from the relationship because it's reached its completion. There's like, there's nothing positive at this point forward. So, Nine of Pentacles, this is a card of independence, a card of where super like a little bit of a random message here, Austin, but this Nine of Pentacles gives me like this implication of like in a general way it would be seen as like someone who's being able to be self-sufficient, being able to yeah, especially for like self-employed, really having some success in this regard here. And it's interesting, I see this Nine of Pentacles and Five of Swords here, and it feels a little bit unrelated to this energy entirely, but Queen of Pentacles in the reverse as well. It feels to me like some facet of your life could be like your financial situation, but when you think about the pentacle energy, like you can take it in a literal super surface level sense of just like money, but it deals with like their earthly desires, right? With that earth energy. And with that Five of Swords, that's like the card of where that if you look at the artwork of this in the Rider Waite Tarot. Also, I apologize for my nails. I was trying to paint them and I had to like take them off. So if you see all the specks, and I promise you I'm not dirty. But you see here with the Five of Swords, it's like two people who, the moment they turn their back on this person here, they're taking up they're taking away the swords, and so they are left defenseless here. And so, Jeremy, like this gives like the impression of where some facet of your life that has been severely underdeveloped and unable to grow because of what you've been dealing with here. And so this is really like, if I pull these cards for myself, I would be asking the question to myself of being like, all right, what personal projects have I wanted to like make more time for? And you read in between the lines with tarot and spirit, the only like spirit's not going to just bring up like a side project, it's like this, they're not going to talk about being like, oh yeah, like you're leaving an abusive situation, but look at all this good stuff that's about to happen for you, right? This gives me like the implication, at least to me, I if I pull these cards for myself, I know there's like a greater reason beyond just like the surface level of something developing in my life, like a project, maybe you wanted to start your own thing there. It goes beyond that. It could be potentially, we'll pull some more cards later about this, Austin, but it kind of gives me the implication of where they're trying to take your path, change your path or your current life trajectory a little bit here to intertwine your path with other folks here. right? It's like spirit is wanting to get you into a specific environment, in a specific in situation that you are only able to do when you tap into this nine and queen of pentacles here, right? And so obviously for me, I see this from a bias because I'm very career oriented right now, but you could take this in a multitude of ways where it's just like, you know, you could take this in a way it's like, okay, maybe I could start, you know, that side project I've been wanting to do, joining different communities in regards to that. Let's say hypothetically, just for simplicity's sake, you wanted to get into spirituality, right? And so this gives me a sign of where it's like, but you weren't able. It's definitely directly related to Austin with your I don't know. I hope it's okay for me to just call him an ex, because I really would. I especially from what you were saying, like I don't want you to be with him anymore. So I'm gonna just refer to him as your ex. But no disrespect, obviously, if you change your mind later on or what have you. But just like it just makes it for simplicity's sake. But yeah, it feels to me like it's something that you haven't been able to really explore because of this situation here, right? So definitely start putting more energy into that. Ask yourself, like, where have you, you know, getting to that point. Two of Swords coming in here, as well as the Magician. This kind of reinforces this sense as well of where, as like another example that just came to mind intuitively, Austin. It's like, for example, you never like you chose to stay in Tennessee, for example, because of your ex, right? And before you met your ex, or maybe during the relationship, you had this desire of moving to Ohio, Vermont, or you know, where Texas, like wherever it is, but your path changed because of that person there, so it stopped your journey as that magician, right? It's kind of like a sense of, think about it as like a as an example of where, kind of random example, but it's like, think about when people become parents, where it's like they kind of have to put their life on pause for like their own goals, aspirations, and stuff, and their path greatly changes to become a full-time parent, right? And so, obviously, I'm not talking about parenthood with you, but it's very much so in that sense of where I feel like you've had to like really put a pause on really creating in your own life, and really uh, being able to just like go from like what I'm being shown here is like being shown from like being able to quickly go from point A to point Z, but it was just like that detour that became your ex, unfortunately, here, right? And so it really does feel as if like spirit is heavily invested in your physical environment right now, which is a very positive thing, Austin, because you know, when it comes to like tarot readings or any type of spiritual person or any, you know, esoteric metaphysical subject, everyone likes to talk about, oh the energy, this and that, you know, behind the scenes. This is a dynamic because of all this pentacle energy, right? That earth energy. This is a dynamic where it's like, because spirit is so invested in your current physical environment, you're going to be seeing, it's less about energy and more about like actual action being taken, or things popping up in your physical world that actually is tangible. Does that make sense? And so if I saw this for myself, the steps that I would be taking to take advantage of this tempo here. Now, obviously, I'm not here, Austin, to project my belief system onto you or my own spiritual practices. That's your business. That's your, you know, my beliefs and practices are no better than anybody else's, right? But you know, just so you have your options, right? Because I don't know your entire belief system, I would be seeing this in like, first things first is that I would make it a priority to connect to like one specific spiritual force. To me, it would be probably be like Archangel Michael, for example, and focusing in on just like one specific energy that I would be connecting to daily, you know, rich, you know, offerings and so on and so forth. And then from that point forward, that's where you really want to set the intent. You know, when people talk about creating like a vision board, and that's kind of like their own personal thing, think about it and think about creating like a vision board for you and your spiritual team, in a sense of where it's like, all right, now that I'm closing this chapter of my life, what do you want to be doing from here? And where spirit is suggesting is definitely something that you haven't been able to develop. Like, I feel like it's something that's already in your awareness. And then from that point forward, I would just be, mm, when you see the magician, it's very much so like a collaboration, and so it's going to be very hard. Like I guess I can give a few examples. If, for example, Austin, let's just say hypothetically, like your priority right now is relationship. It's not money. It's not career. You know, your interest, your pentacle desire is a relationship, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you know, that's a very human thing, right? So don't feel bad or guilty about that. I know that's something like a lot of people feel shy about wanting to acknowledges, where it's like you're just craving love, right? And that's understandable. And so let's just say that's like your choice, like you want to prioritize love. Fabulous. Next step for you is to start creating, before you even start letting spirit know who, like what kind of person it is that you're wanting. You need, like, this gives me like a sense of where prioritizing where you want to be in life, right? And like, again, like there seems to be something like this push or emphasis for the environment there. And so to me, I would see this and be like, all right, love is my priority, right? But like, where have you held back from going to? Like, again, like maybe you've wanted to leave Tennessee, right? But you know, so on and so forth. To me, I would be prioritizing leaving your environment currently and like tapping into this magician with whatever aspect this is for you. And then from that point forward, it leads me to believe with this Two of Swords here that that's how your path is going to cross with this next person. So I don't feel like it's going to be coming, like your next relationship comes from like a dating app. I feel like your next relationship comes from comes from you involving yourself with something that you never had the time or resources to be able to, because of that. Like, again, for some reason there's like this implication that you are unable to really delve into a path, delve into a journey, because of your ex there, right? And so it's definitely hyper focused in regards to that. And just like, yeah, prioritizing getting yourself to like a certain point in your life, whether it's like changing cities or changing job, like there's some type of change that you need to do that's for your own personal journey for that pentacles. And then from that point forward, then you can be like, all right, spirit, like let's start trying to bring this person forward to you. And we'll get more detail about this, Austin, a little bit later. I'm going to pull it from a different tarot deck to get more detail about your next relationship and so on. But yeah, I want to, like, I think you said in your notes that you wanted to just tune in a little bit on regards to like what they're currently feeling, right? So I want to tune into that before so we can just like let go of this energy, right? Because I don't really enjoy having this person's like existence in your reading here for too long. So I want to just like wrap it up with this so we can really focus in on just your own personal journey. So Nine of Swords coming in here, right? And I'll explain like the meaning of each card so you understand like why I'm saying certain things, and that it's not me just, you know, trying to feed into like making you feel better, right? The Nine of Swords, you look at this person, they're in a bed. It represents like someone who just woke up from a nightmare or like sleepless nights because of anxiety, right? The swords and tarots, the air energy representing your psyche, your mental health, your thoughts, right? And so right off the bat, having that Nine of Swords there lets you know there is some type of anxiety. There is this sense of running through constantly about the situation here. The World card, Eight of Wands, Six of Pentacles, Nine of Wands in the reverse. Back of the deck is the Temperance. All right, Austin, I'm going to be very brutally honest with you, darling, all right, because I'm a little bit worried. With this type of tempo here, maybe I didn't fully understand your notes when I read them, but I kind of gave the implication, or I was under the impression that you haven't said anything to him yet. Because of like maybe you need to get your ducks in a row, you know, obviously, you know, like it's for your own safety. But this implication here kind of gives, like, this kind of implies, Austin, that they are already aware about this, because it's like the sense of where Nine of Swords, anxiety, overthinking, the World card, that's the final card in the major arcana, representing the closure of one cycle, Austin, to begin a new one, right? And so there's already this acknowledgement from his side of where it's like, oh crap, things are ending, things are moving. Eight of Wands is a card of travel, movement. Six of Pentacles coming in there. That's a card of where someone who will try to like meet you halfway when it's already too late, when you've been begging for months. It's like very much so where it's like, oh, can we go to couples therapy? Can we go to couples therapy for like, you've been asking for that for months, and they're like, no, 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 they don't take it serious. And then when you're already packing your bags, leaving the door, the Six of Pentacles comes in where it's just like, oh, hey, like, let's do therapy now. Like, I'm ready for couples therapy, right? And it's just Nine of Wands. This really feels like a place of where they don't want to be alone more than, it's like more so about them not wanting to be alone, Austin, than it is about actual remorse or actual like strong emotion towards you. I know that might sound really rough to hear, but I'm like giving you I'm just giving it to you like as if I was reading this for myself or a close friend, because I'm just worried about this here, because this doesn't, like, you'll notice like there's no cups, there's no cup cards, the emotions, the water energy. This is all purely just like, I don't know. This to me is like only having the realization after it's like too far gone. And to me, it's not even like a realization of like maturing, be like, oh, I need to change. It's like this sense of where not even acknowledging like they need to change. It's more of this sense of where it's like, oh, I don't want to end up alone type of thing. Or I don't want to, well, let's pull a couple more to unpack that before I, Eight of Swords coming in here. The Lovers is in the reverse. And the Page of Cups. I was about to say, like, I didn't want to like project that on, so I was like, okay, let me like pull some cards first. But I was gonna say, is like, this more so feels like, Austin, like someone that just doesn't want to, like, it bothers them more to conceptualize the idea of you moving on to somebody else than it is about them realizing what it is that they've done to you. Like, they're not having this anxiety, these negative thoughts, because they're just like, fuck, dude, I like messed up with Austin. Like, I really need to change. It's like, you get the point. And so that's just like the thing I'm worried about with you, is that, is like the sense of like you not falling for the remorse. And I know in the tone of your, in your email, not your email, your note, it kind of felt like you already were at this place where you're just like, you knew it's time, it's done, right? And so I'm not going to drill it into you too much more, because I'm sure you already understand it and like you're already checked out. But that's just something to be prepared for, all right? And so just do not, like, this gives very much so like emotionally manipulative energy, all right? So just keep yourself protected, my darling, all right? But right off the bat, darling, like, you can see, like, this is the best choice that you could be making for yourself here, right? And I think you even asked the question where it's like, if you would be able to find something better, right? And before I was even trying to pull the cards for you for your next relationship, like, these cards already gave that implication, right? So definitely looking pretty positive for you, darling. So let's take a look now in regards to what does life look like for you after, all right? And then afterwards, at the end, we'll wrap it up and see, tap into the attributes of your next relationship and see what you can be doing to identify it, so on and so forth. But, just to current cliff notes that I've gotten from your card so far, make more time for something that you haven't been able to do because of that relationship, right? I can list a million different examples, but, obviously you will be the one that knows the best. But it is definitely in relation to something that you've thought about before. It's in relation to something that changes your trajectory in some capacity, right? And it's important to be able to do that because it really does feel like spirit is trying to have your path cross with like a specific, it's either like a person or event or an event that spirit is trying to have your path cross with. So there is some level of importance in that regard. So Six of Cups, all right. Looking, the six. There's so much depth to the Six of Cups, so I'm not going to say anything yet until we pull clarifiers. Like you can see this in too many different ways, and then this is the way that it is, and then the Seven of Cups here in the reverse. I'm not trying to intimidate or scare you or anything, Austin, but it really gives this sense of where your ex is really not wanting to like give up this idea of like you moving on from them. Like straight up, like even if there's like this period of silence for a little bit, it gives me very much so like a vibe where they just make their appearance known over and over again. And I feel like it's just so important for you to, yeah, Five of Cups is so, it's so important for, it really speaks on like getting out of the environment, or like, I would be suggesting for you to just straight up gray rock them, because, and what that means is like the term gray rocking is like when you're dealing with like a narcissist, for example, or a psychopath, they feed off of your reaction. Even if you're calling them a stupid hoe, you know, you wish they died, yada yada yada, you're still feeding the beast, right? And so it gives them something to consistently come back and just like continuously engage. And so even if you are like insulting them and not, you know, making them feel or anything, like they still get the satisfaction of like, you know, you have to think about this where it's like your attention, your words, or is like a reward for him. And so I don't know, like with this here, like it's almost like borderline psychotic with this obsessive nature. And so it's like you really want to make it as boring as possible for your ex to like do anything with you, right? Don't like, even at, like, I know it's much easier said than done, but this is really one of those cases where I would say taking the high road of where it's just like you just completely, it's like that he no longer exists would be the best case scenario for you, because if you don't, it's going to really slow down what we were talking about of your independent journey as that magician for your own things, because this is like someone that's not giving up, right? Tried to move on from his energy already, still came right back in, right? And the reason why I say this is because the Six of Cups deals with people from your past, like it has a representation of people from your past, right? And so it was like, I already kind of knew. I was like, before I even get excited about this, because the Six of Cups can also talk about receiving something beautiful, like receiving like a new soul connection, receiving like a gift of some type, right? So yeah, that's just like my heads up for you in that regard there. And really, again, like I don't feel like it's anything like super dangerous, right? I just feel like it's just the behavior is just, ugh, I don't know. Page of Wands, Ace of Wands, Four of Wands, beautiful, Four of Pentacles, and the Fool. Beautiful, beautiful, dude. Hello, I love this. And then that Knight of Swords in the back of the deck. I love this setup for you, my friend. So let's break this down, Austin. Right off the bat, you see that Page and Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands in a social way, that would be someone that would have like a strong attraction or borderline lust towards you. And then the Page of Wands, Pages represents just new energy entering your life. And then that Wands energy talks about like, essentially it's like the representation of like what that opportunity comes as, really opens a lot of doors for you. Four of Wands, this is a beautiful card for you to be having. You are asking the question, I believe, of like if you would be able to find someone better. This is why. This is what I was saying. This is confirming what I was getting from this Two of Swords here, darling. Right? That's why I'm excited about this, because this, and I'll explain it in a moment. Girl, can I move these cards? Like with this Two of Swords here, like where I was saying, it's like I feel like your spirit is really trying to redirect your path. This is where they're trying to get you to. The Four of Wands is represented as two wands on either side. It can represent marriage, but the two wands on either side represents the 1111. It represents like a portal. And think about it like this. It's like I don't know how else to really properly explain this, but even though the future is never solid, I personally believe that there's certain people and certain events that are just destined to happen in our lives, regardless of what we do with it, right? There's just certain chapters that are just destined to have happen. And this is what that is, right? And as I was saying with the Six of Cups, you know, that's like that soul tribe energy there. And then because of what we were getting with the implications of the other tarot cards where spirit is really trying to direct your path, it all makes sense here. So definitely spirit's trying to get you in a connection with somebody that, for Pentacles, this is a card of investing, right? The long term, right? So it's definitely like a situation where it's like someone that you would be brought into your life for for the long term, starting a new journey, the Fool energy, right? It's, you know, you start, we had that World card, the final card in the Major Arcana, the ending of that Fool's journey, then to begin a new one, right? The story writes itself here, Austin. And then this Knight of Swords seems to be, you know, the court cards are about people, right? And so it gives me very much so just like an air energy type of person. So very much so, definitely some spirit already has someone planned for you, and they're already actively wanting to take action to redirect your path towards there. But it's necessary for you to do certain steps, like as I was saying beforehand, of like tapping into something that you haven't been able to do because of that previous relationship. So it's really important to really change things up in that regard there, to get in connection with where spirit is trying to get you to. All right, so let's take a look about this Knight of Swords, this person that they have planned for you. Four of Cups is that confirmation. I'll explain this a little bit deeper. This is who you are currently. This is a person that is sitting under a tree, arms crossed, eyes are closed, representing that they're closed off to their current situation, closed off to life because of their current situation with those three cups. And so because of that, they're unable to see that the cup that spirit's trying to offer to them, right? And it's because of what it is that you're currently dealing with. And so you would see this as a couple of affirmations. For one, once again, reinforces what it is of like needing to disconnect from that ex, right? But number two, really reinforces where it's just like you end up missing this connection that spirit is trying to get you and get you to if you don't change like the environment up of what, as I was saying beforehand, like I really don't feel like you meet this person through a dating app. Temperance, Ace of Cups. Once again, you see that cup being handed. Chariot, Six of Wands, my favorite card in the Minor Arcana, and then the Three of Swords in the reverse. So, attributes about this person here. I can be telling you that you definitely will be getting into a relationship. I feel, to me, this gives me it gives me, I would say early in the next year, but how you could speed things up, Three Swords in the reverse, there with that Chariot, how you would speed things up is really, again, it's just really dependent on like this X energy here. Then it makes sense as to why I felt called to suggest to you, like gray rocking them and stuff, because it's like, it slows this down so much. It slows down this connection so much. Attributes about this person though, I mean, spirits, like, I'm not going to like, just to be completely transparent, Austin, I don't want to force details when I don't see them to me, because then I feel like that's, you know, that's just like forcing something that's not really accurate to me. Like the dynamic that I pulled with these cards here more so just gives the implication of like how to get to this person sooner, and like really reaffirming this sense of like how good this next relationship's going to be. So for whatever reason, spirit's not really giving me like the attributes of that person right now, unfortunately. I'm sorry, I know that's probably really frustrating to hear, but it's interesting. What I can be telling you, a couple things that do call out to me, other than what we were talking about with that Four of Cups from beforehand and the synchronicity between the two. But if you were to even just Google the cards of the Ace of Cups, that talks about new love, a new opportunity. It's a two pair. It's a double dipping there. Six of Wands, favorite card of the Minor Arcana, because the Six of Wands just represents being recognized by people, being noticed by people, being recognized for your hard work, and just being, yeah, just it finally starts to feel like it's your turn to be celebrated here. And so how some predictions in regards to this, how I see this going down, because of the context of that Six of Wands and this Ace of Cups, it leads me to believe that it's like you're already in the process of like your path crosses with that other person. They end up noticing you because remember, as I was saying, Page and Ace of Wands, that's a card of attraction. I just keep on noticing where like there's like this reference of like new opportunity or just like new life, and it's just like as you're exploring this new life, that's where you catch the attention. It's like someone that moves towns or changes jobs and catching the attention of that new environment while you're just simply minding your business, delving into this new territory with not really the set intent of attracting said person there. And again, the only suggestions that I would be having for you is more about like, making sure that you close that chapter and you do not even like allow it to be reopened. And another thing here is that I would just try to make it more of a priority to make your life more collaborative with spirit currently. And then I was going to suggest, like, I think I even said at the beginning, I was suggesting for you to like writing out like what it is that you would be wanting out of a partner and like helping spirit to bring forth this into your life. But I feel like I misinterpreted that, and more so because especially since they didn't give me any attributes here, I feel like I may have misinterpreted it more so in a way of where it's just like trusting spirit's process in this more so. And I feel like the vision board in relation to that is more so just like taking account now when you get out of your toxic situation of where it's just like taking inventory of your life and be like, all right, like now that I've like really ended this really toxic chapter in my life, let me take inventory. Like, what do I have? What do I feel? What do I want? Like, what do I personally want? Right? Those type of things there. And having that reflection being like, you know what, I always wanted to do this, I always wanted to move that, right, or move there, right? And that's where the collaboration comes from, because that's where it's like spirit, it gives something for spirit to work with, to have your path line up with them. So yeah, lots of stuff here to unpack, Austin. I'm a little bit sorry that this is a lot longer than you probably were expecting, but there was just like, for your entire reading, like just to give some context, like, well, like when I'm doing these readings, I always work with my own personal spirits when I do divination, but also the behind the scenes work when it comes to my private readings. I always try to make it a point to form some type of connection to my client's spiritual team to help bring forth any type of message where it's just like, oh, hey, while the call is open, is there anything that you want to anything you want to say? And so there's like been numerous points in this reading where it's just like I have like a thought that I'm trying to like speak out to you, and then it's just like I'm being hit by like two other like intuitive messages or impressions that I get. And so it's just like having like a bunch of people talking in my ear essentially. So it's just like I would just be suggesting to you is like you have a very pronounced spiritual team that is actively wanting to connect with you, Austin. So even if you don't know, that doesn't matter if you know their names or not, because names are just like a human thing. Just even putting out like the simple effort of just like, lighting a candle for who you might feel called to. Like maybe it's Archangel Michael. Even if you want to just literally connect to like your ancestors or something, doing some type of spiritual effort what, you know, with just like lighting a candle or incense or what have you, or even just the acknowledgement, maybe just like making like a small plate of food for them when you make your dinner. Those type of things are going to help build an energetic rapport for you and them, and it makes communication much easier, and it makes anything spirit's trying to do energetically happen much quicker in your physical world, because you build that energetic rapport. But yeah, lots of stuff here. I'm going to close this out so I can get this sent out to you as soon as possible, Austin. Again, I really appreciate you, my friend, for trusting me to read these cards, and I really wish you a lot of luck. You have a lot of good stuff coming in for you. Like, this is probably the best choice that you could have ever made for yourself. So keep your head up, friend. Bye, darling.